Greetings from Erina, Australia. It is semi-final Wednesday here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. The wildlife of Australia standing by. Not too many parrots in the arena, however. We're at Erina Ice World, the venue for this championship. And here is our feature game today. It will be Japan facing China in the women's semi-final. Hans Frauenlob here with Sander Rolbag. Good afternoon, Sander.
Good afternoon, Hans.
Let's see how the teams got here. This was the round-robin standings. Korea top of the table, 10-0, unbeaten. Japan and China facing each other today. China 8-2. Hong Kong are the first ever qualifiers, first ever qualified team from Hong Kong. Those are your semi-final teams in the women's event. And here we see the brackets, 1v4. Korea will be playing, and China versus Japan, which is our feature match today. The winning teams go on to the gold medal match, and the losers will play in the bronze medal match. Both of those games will be happening tomorrow. Place is at stake in this one for Team Japan. At lead today is Yurika Yoshida. Mari Motohashi is at second. Tsunami Yoshida will be playing third, and their skip is Satsuki Fujisawa. Yumi Suzuki is the alternate, and James Lind is their coach.
Yeah, and Team China, for their lineup. At lead we have Yan Hui. At second is Yao Minghui. And third is Yan Shindi, and the team is skipped by Jiang Ilun. Alternate is Meng Chu, and the coach is the infamous Marcel Rock.
So we move inside, and China with the higher ranking will have last rock. China will be playing the yellow stones. Japan will be playing the red stones. Teams played a double round robin, so they faced each other twice in the lead up to this semifinal. China won both of those matches, so big test for Team Japan. See if they can get some momentum back after losing twice to this Chinese team. But it's a new tournament now for these teams, and Yurika Yoshida gets us underway. Round robin record really doesn't mean anything anymore, Sander. It's a brand new tournament.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing for Japan, because they haven't really found their A game yet. They've lost both games to Korea and both games to China, only beaten the three other teams. So haven't been able to win against any of the big contenders here.
Let's meet Chinese lead. Yan Hui.
Japan coming into the rings. It's a cautious start, and for China as well, they will try and play the hit and stick, meaning we'll probably have a pretty simple and straightforward first end here to get things going.
Sticks around. Let's see. Japanese skip Satsuki Fujisawa holding the target for Yoshida.
But, this is very common to see, and in the first end especially, so in the playoffs where teams just feel maybe a little bit tense, a little bit nervous, just want to throw a couple of rocks, make some simple shots to get things started and get to know the ice.
The Olympic-style playoff system being used here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. So no second chances here. You win and you go to the gold medal match. And so Yan Hui throws her second stone at the end. Chinese lead.
Yeah, this time drawing out to the wing. The thought there is, if Japan would ever to miss the stone completely, they could put another yellow on the opposite side of the house, have maximum separation, and set up for their two. But should not see such a huge mistake from the Japanese here.
At the start of the tournament, if you were handicapping the fields, you would have probably ranked the Japanese higher. Here is Japanese second Mari Motohashi. stick there. Despite it being a young Japanese team, they've got a lot of championship experience, and so they know that it's a new ball game now. We're into the medal round. Here is Yao Minghui, Chinese second player. Rolls out of the rings. She was looking to stick around there. Bit of a decision now for the Japanese. Fujisawa briefly thought about ducking around the corner guard, but electing for a front stone. Mari Motohashi. Veteran of the team.
I think they've asked for a tight center guard here, so that is forcing the issue just a wee bit. Means that, of course, China cannot make the hit and sit in the rings.
No, very nice guard there from Motohashi. China will definitely have to deal with this.
So they're just looking to peel it and take it away. So probably looking at a blank hand here, China, to retain the hammer, last on advantage. Japan with a cautious approach to maybe getting the force in play, meaning forcing China to score a single point.
Oh, look at this. Is it going to get any contact at all? Nudges it on the rings. Will it spin back? Yes, it does. So bad miss there from Yao Minghui, and a good chance now for Japan to go for the force. Disappointment from Yao. Just caught it just a hair. So now Japan will try to split the house. Japanese third, Chinami Yoshida. Good first up draw weight there for Yoshida. And Japan lies two. Chinese third player, Jiang Jindi. Only 20 years of age, but she has played really well at this competition. Rolls toward the center line, and China lies one. Yoshida now being asked to throw the hit. Good execution there from the Japanese. Good look at the release of Jiang Jindi. Right on the nose. Here are the rules of play for this semifinal game. 8 ends minimum, but the game is scheduled for 10. Each team has 38 minutes thinking time to play their shots, and each team has 1 60-second timeout when they can call their coach onto the field of play. Yilun and Jindi looking on. Here is Japanese skip Satsuki Fujisawa. Started curling at the age of 5. Sweepers are really on this one. They're worried about it over curling. Little inside roll, but still good separation. A little bit easier for the Chinese to maybe hit and roll behind the corners. She was a little bit surprised by the amount of curl there, Sander. Still okay. So now China switching to the in-turn to play this next shot. They'll be looking for a roll to the left of our screen as we're looking at it, behind those corner guards. China does have last rock here in the first. Here's Chinese skip Jiang Jilun. Lots of weight. Oh, yes, no, it's close. There's the hit, there's the roll. Is it too much roll? Trying to spin it back. And it's just off the rings. An aggressive sweeping call. They were definitely going for the roll there, but they just slightly overcooked it, Sander.
Yeah, you get a hand to them. That was a good try.
Those are the kind of small risks that you want to take when you're going for two. Just confirming where they want this stone to come to rest.
Yeah, so they feel like they want to let the opponent skipper draw for her single point here. So they're just looking to put this top 12. Just nibbling the rings, really. So China can't make the nose hit for the point. That will allow quite a lot of room to draw to, though. So I'd be tempted to come a little deeper through the rings here. Maybe just the side of the forefoot. This will slip a little deep anyway. Does the job, though.
Yeah, the force is definitely on.
Sometimes teams tend to like to put that maybe just the side of the forefoot, just to make the opponent question whether they want to draw or play the hit.
This will definitely be the hit. We talk about the force, and it's when you force your opponent to score one when they have last rock. So that's the situation here for China. Last stone on its way here in the first of this women's semifinal. They need to stick around to score. They've got contact, a little outside roll, but safely in the 8-foot ring, so it is a score of 1 to China, but a good first end for the Japanese, forcing the one. China opens their account. After one end of play, it's China 1, Japan no score. Yan Hui gets us underway in the second end. This one's into the rings. China playing the percentages, Sander. Trying to keep it tight, obviously.
Yeah, well, you know, China's one up here. Just saying, all right, we're in the lead here. Japan, if you want to score some points, you're going to have to put the guards in play.
Yoriko Yoshida. looking for that corner guard. This one is sliding pretty pacey, though. Will it come to rest? Yes, it does. Comes short of the ring, so it's in the free guard zone area. That means the opponent cannot remove it until 4 stones have been played. Nice shot there from Eureka. We've talked throughout the tournament, Sander, of the importance of the lead position setting the table for the end.
Yeah, it's just if your lead stones are not in the right spot, your team's on the back foot every end.
The stone sliding deep in the rings. Come into the black, or to the back blue 12-foot circle, just going to hang on. Just still stays in play. That stone has to be completely over the back line before it comes out of play.
That's the problem there was, they were looking for a guard to protect this stone. Now it's fully in the open, and it's only really one stone that Japan needs to worry about before making the move in around the corner. So advantage Japan early on in this end.
Jams it though. So it slightly improves the Chinese stone at the back, but Japan lies 1. Not a particular worry for Team Japan, but it's still annoying.
Yeah, Japan will be able to get shots stone around the corner, out count in the back yellow. And it's the most important part. So they could ignore the stone on the back and just come around the corner, but first they might have to deal with this yellow rock.
Liao Mingwei makes a nice correction after that miss in the first end almost cost her team. Japan would like to roll across the house behind that guard if they could.
Well, every shot in curling is important, but I often feel like the teams are best at the hit and rolls are very often the teams that win games. It's just so very effective. You're basically doing 2 things with 1 rock. You're removing an opposition stone, but you're also able to find some protection for your own.
And we see the Japanese bench, and there's Coach James Lind, JD, from the province of Alberta in Canada, but he's been working for a number of years now with the Japanese program, and he's an excellent coach.
Yeah, I believe he aged out of his own junior team and then coached them.
Yeah.
And then moved to Japan in I believe the summer of 2013. So it's been there a while now.
Oh, look at this. Just enough to push the Japanese stone out of the rings, but Yao again a little bit wide, and now we see the Chinese bench and their coach, Marcel Rock, also from the province of Alberta, Canada. A little more experienced than young J.D. Lind, but again, Marcel's been working with the Chinese curling program for a number of years.
Well, as a coach, I think they're probably fairly even in terms of experience, but as a player, of course, Rock has been everywhere.
Certainly
and done
has.
pretty much everything.
Indeed, multiple world champion. Great chance now for the Japanese to use this corner guard that Yoshida set very early in the end. Want to duck it around and behind. They would love to stay in front of the tee line. Good looking line, nice shot. Marimoto Hashi absolutely sinks 1.
So this was
there we see it, almost fully buried, just a corner available, and Zheng Yilin says, yeah, I think we can still get it. So it looks like she's going to try and make a play at it. Asking Jiang Jindi, delicate shot here. She's going to have to get quite near that guard to get contact. She's by the guard, gets the nudge, pushes it out. Great shot. Rolls it to the back 8 foot away from the guard. Beautiful stone there from Zhang Jindi. Nothing to it. Make it look easy. That was not an easy shot. Japan again saying, okay, we'll give it another go. That corner guard is there. We want to use it. Tsunami Yoshida this time on the outturn. This one looks a bit hot. It's going to go deep in the house. Will it stay in the rings? Sliding deep and through? No, just hangs on. Yoshida going, sorry. That's deeper than I wanted to be. It is behind the guard, but it's second shot. So this one is suddenly shaping up like a force situation for the Chinese.
They'll come around the corner guard here and sit 2. Just got to make sure you don't slip deep. If you ever just come behind the tee line here, Japan will just follow you, put one on top, and all of a sudden you're in trouble again. So generally you don't like playing around corner guards without the last one advantage, but getting to the last couple of rocks at the end here, as you will see, the stone will slip deep, but deep enough, I think, to not be too much of a problem for China.
Yeah, it'd be difficult for Japan to follow that one down and still be shot. The broom placement, though. Fujisawa is bravely saying, okay, I'm looking at 2, but I'm still going to get one around that corner guard.
Yes,
Yoshida now looking to make the adjustment.
And that yellow stone in the back 12 could be a bit of a nuisance for China in terms of removing this red stone with their next one. This spot is clearly getting quicker, throwing a lot of stones down this path, and it's getting keener and keener. Everyone coming up a bit heavy, but that's not a bad spot for the rock for Japan.
Yep. I think that yellow stone on the left-hand side is shot rock, and the red stone would be second shot. But angles are good for Japan. So we saw that Jang Gi-lun said, okay, I can't hit that. I'll just draw in front of it and lie 2 that way. Aggressive shot choices from both teams here. We'd like to see that. Danger for China is over curling, and it's imperative that China is second shot here. Throws it there cold. Sweepers didn't really help it at all. But safely in the house, lying 2. So now the choice for Japan is, how much do you want to press the issue? The conservative play might be just a straight freeze. The aggressive play, and we can see Tsunami Yoshida indicating it now, just bumping it back and still keeping a 3 in play. So we think the play is to push that yellow stone back.
The good part for Japan here is that everything's in behind the tee line, so it's a very risk-free way of trying to set up for 2. If it doesn't come off, forfeit's open.
They're worried about the line. Are they by? Can they save the shooter? No, the shooter rolls away. Japanese jump that right out of hand. Remove the Chinese shot, but they roll away. You can hear the urgency in the line calls, and you can see why. Over curls, rolls out. Motohashi, Yoshida did all they could to hold the line there. Zhang Yilun with that situation you love as a skip. Chance to throw the same shot again. China trying to set up the force. Inside out release there from Zhang Yilun. Needs to get some contact on the back stones. Cannot afford to go by them. But she's okay. Gets a piece. China lies 2.
Yeah, easy on our sweepers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long week for all of the teams in this women event, playing a double round robin, so they've played 10 matches already. Final round robin draw this morning, so these teams are going back to back. So now Japan needs to draw almost a piece of the 4-foot to score their 1. They've got backing. Good end for Team China. Curling away from the scoring zone. Is it going to be close enough? I don't think so. I think it's a steal of 2. Players are going to take a look at it. The line got them, Sander. The weight was fine, but it curled away from the target area.
Yeah, big mistake. Not taking enough ice for the shot. I mean, over curling there is something you really can't afford to do. You could have taken 3 feet more ice there and be fine.
They are calling for a measure, so the officials are going to be called on the ice to measure the stones to see who's closest.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many measures on the broadcast, Hans.
Well, this is the first one I can think of. They've kicked 1 stone away, and there's high fives for Team China because they know they've scored 1 already. They've removed 1 stone from the scoring area, so I think they've agreed that China has counted at least 1, and now the measurement will be to determine whether it's 1 point or 2 points. Sometimes our camera angle can be slightly deceiving.
Looks yellow, though.
It does look like the yellow stone. The Chinese are playing yellow stones, but the official is coming to measure with a very precise measurement device, and this will tell us definitively who's got the point. Quite a chunk of that stone there, not even close, and it is a score, a steal of 2 to China. Line mistake there from the Japanese, uncharacteristic, but the Chinese are off to a flyer, stealing 2, and after 2 ends of play, it's China 3 and Japan no score. Play underway in the third end. A view there from the coach's bench, and Sander, one of those moments in the match that you'll probably look back on in the 9th or 10th end if you're Team Japan, and if they're in a situation where they're in a close match, they'd look back to that shot in the second end when they just maybe put the broom in the wrong place on a draw. She had the whole 8 foot to draw to, but it over curls, and China stole 2.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. They didn't look too panicked with the line either. If they could see that they were over curling early there, just sweep it all the way and maybe try and get onto the backing, but
well, by this point in the tournament, one thing that every athlete will know is that the draws are always going to curl. It's hard to take too much ice on a draw.
The thing is, all the draws down that path they were overthrown. They were to the back of the house on their own, and finally, you know, Fujisawa throws a draw that's a bit short, and then sometimes if it curls earlier, it might hit a new track and you might get some extra finish. Yeah, I think that's maybe just what happened there.
Regardless, the net result, 2 points to China, and they're in front of this one in this semifinal, 3-0. So this will be a test of the mental toughness of Team Japan. Let's see how they bounce back. Interesting call here, Sander. Looks like Yuriko Yoshida is being asked just to tap this one back in the house. So Setsuki Fujisawa just trying to make something happen here, keeping stones in play.
Yeah, well, I do prefer this rather than hitting any yellow stones, which I have seen quite a bit this week. Just trying to keep the opposition stones in play, but I'd probably like to tap that another foot or so, maybe getting a tiny bit of a split on the yellows, but both Chinese counters and behind the tail end, so not too bad.
Not bad, but as you say, Sander, does make that scoring area really tight now. Stones are back button and back forefoot.
I'm sure they'll have a chance to make a play on those yellows again, tap them up even further.
Trying to counter that is Chinese second stone, Yao Mingwei.
Feeling a bit tight for line early here. Can't afford to jam this on the back yellows.
Trying to go across it now. Has it gone enough? No, it stuffs and it pokes the Chinese stone into the back 8 foot, but leaves the Japanese shot on the button. Get a great look at it here in terms of the contact point. They were trying to hit it on the right-hand side of the rock, but it over curls and jams.
Sometimes when you're sitting in the hack, you're thinking, okay, that's the only thing I don't want to do. But then
it's like trying to not think of a pink elephant, right?
Yeah, but then you kind of rethink, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to be a coward here. I'm going to try and throw it properly, and then do it the other way.
So good chance now for the Japanese to capitalize. They've got last rock here on the third. They would like to score at least 2 points with last rock. Whole team is in on the sweep here. They'd love to be shot, but it's going to be second shot. More concerned about getting behind the guard. There we see maybe a corner of that stone is buried. Yao Mingwei. Oh, again, a little bit aggressive with the sweep call there, looking for that outside roll, but it springs out to the edge of the 12 foot.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if they needed to roll in behind the red stone there.
Maybe a little over anxious there for Team China, but again, a good chance for the Japanese.
Actually, also a really bad spot for them. That's a bit of a catcher for the red stone already in the house for Japan. The more of a wall Japan can create in the back of the house, the better. The harder for China to remove the reds.
So, this is a situation that can turn the momentum around for Team Japan, but this one is coming up to rest corner, freezing its own. I don't think that's where they wanted to leave it, Sander.
That's the worst spot, actually. There's a really easy double. Stopped sweeping there to try and curl a bit more and get the angle onto one of the back yellows, but it gets a slight bounce, and this should be pretty straightforward.
Zhang Jindi with an opportunity to double these stones off and leave China sitting 4. Has to be on the high side of the rock to make it, though. Sweeper's trying to hold the line. And she makes it. Beautiful double take out there for Team China. And as a bonus, rolling behind that stone in the front 12-foot. Great shot. Just as quickly as that, the momentum is gone for the Japanese, and now Team China really, really making life difficult. Look at that. Stones go flying out of the rings, and look at the roll. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Great shot there, Jindi. China lies 4. No choice now for the Japanese but to pull the chute and try to salvage the end.
Yeah, they need to open up the front a little bit here.
That's a good start for the Japanese. 2 of the Chinese stones removed by Tsunami Yoshida. Nice double takeout. Stone, Japanese stone, just short of the rings. So decision time now for Zhang Yilun. Considered running that front stone, but now she's saying, oh, well, the corner guard's probably going to hurt us more, so electing to clear the corner guard.
Yeah, I like the skull.
Zhang Yilun. Calling strategy for Zhang Jindi. Catches it thin. Does she get some action on the top one? Ooh, nearly tickled it on the rings. So the corner guards are gone now for the Japanese. Nice execution there from Zhang Jindi. And you almost get the sense, Sander, that the Japanese are really just trying to press and to make something happen here. Tsunami Yoshida being asked to freeze to one of these stones in the back of the house.
Yeah, they just need to make things a little difficult for China and get a miss or at least a half miss to get something going.
This one again has got a lot of heat. They really don't want to bump, but there's going to be at least a small bump here. Not quite frozen, so enough of a gap there for Team China to play takeout weight and remove the Japanese rock.
There's a good chance they'll leave a double for Japan, though, after this. So
yeah, she can't afford to go across the face because it will jam. Yoshida, Fujisawa. How do we get something going here? Nice execution there, removes the Japanese rock, but as Sander foreshadowed, it does roll towards the other shooter. So Opens up the scoring area a little bit for Team Japan.
Still electing to try and score 2 here.
Well, now's the situation, Sander, where you could even afford to freeze slightly across the face, and there's a risk of a jam for the Chinese if she can corner freeze on the inside. Make it very difficult for the Chinese to remove it, but she does want to be shot. Yoshida onto it right away. They liked the weight. They might have overcooked it, actually. Yoshida jumped it right out of hand. She thought it was light, but this one is actually tracking pretty well. Again, that small bump. And sits in the open, so. Yuriki Yoshida, Mari Murahashi with an early sweep. That one held the line a little straighter than they were anticipating, and pretty easy pickings now for Jiang Yilun as a result. So semifinals go for Team China. This is really just about as well as you could write the script for yourself. There hasn't been many high pressure shots that Yilun's had to make. Just capitalizing on half mistakes from the opposition so far. China will be quite happy to let Japan score 1. Of course, they'd love to steal. Just hangs around despite the best efforts of Tsunami Yoshida to sweep it out of play. So this is almost a replay of the situation that we saw in the second end, Sander, where Fujisawa had to draw the 8-foot to score a point. Had the weight, but it over-curled, so again, this is a similar track that she just threw down, but we can see that Tsunami Yoshida is taking quite a bit more ice than the previous attempt. Learning a lesson from the last end, perhaps.
So, what we call often a junior mistake is drawing against rocks to have them as backing, but this is more about throwing the path she knows the weight for. Of course, drawing to the center line gives you more room for error. That's where the house has the biggest diameter, but as a skip, you like to draw the same path you just drawn, and this is finally a good one.
Yep, Satsuki Fujisawa. That's the Japanese team that we know. Fujisawa throws it into the 4-foot circle to score their point and open their account. After 3 ends of play, it's China 3 and Japan 1. Welcome back to the Erina Ice Arena in Erina, Australia. It's semi-final Wednesday in the women's event here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. Hans Raunlob here with Sandra Rolvag, world mixed curling champion from Norway, and Yan Hui, 79% so far in the match, but So far, it's been all Team China, Sander.
Yeah, I think the biggest moment in the game was that miss by Fujisawa in the second end. Steal of 2 for China, but only a 2-point difference between the teams early on. 7 ends to go. It's still fairly open.
You see the experience of this Japanese team. They elected to have that first guard very long. That was quite deliberate. So now Yurika Yoshida at 75% so far in the match gets a chance to stack a second center guard and also get a lot of separation. Nice execution there. To the new curling fan, Sander, it can be quite counterintuitive to see, okay, well, all you're doing is you're protecting your opponent's stone. But what's the strategy and the thinking there for Team Japan?
Well, I just want to try and keep as many stones along the center line as possible. Close down the scoring area for China. At some point, we're going to try and wiggle in a red stone into the forefoot. And, of course, they want some protection for that stone. And that's going to be those 2 guards. You have to throw them first using the free guard zone when China's not allowed to make a hit on them. If you do later on in the end, China's just going to start peeling their stones. So.
Yan Hui, nice in-turn draw there, and China lying 2 behind those guards.
Yeah, so China placing the stones there, making it hard for Japan to get into the innermost circle. Basically in the way for Japan, and what they're going to do now is try and tap them up and free up some space and clear the path.
Satsuki Fujisawa say back line for Mari Motohashi. It's the weight that she would like her to throw. Enough weight to get the stone to the back line of the house. She just wants to push these stones a bit further back, but this one's got some curling to do. It's well by the guards. Needs to curl to get some contact. Getting a piece, but gonna spill to the wing. Pushes the Chinese stone out from behind the guards, so that's at least a positive for the Japanese. Would have liked to push something behind the T-line, though, I think, Sander. I like that call. Yao Mingwei waiting for instructions. Now they're saying, let's not fall into the trap. We're up 3, or up 2 rather. We're up 3-1. We've got the hammer. Do we clear the guards now? Awfully tempting, though, for Team China to say, okay, setting up pretty good. Let's go for it. Takes a lot of discipline to back away from a situation where it's looking like you could score 2 or 3. In the end, the decision's to clear one of those center guards.
I think a good rule of thumb is if you're ever in doubt, peel the guard. It's rarely the bad call.
The peel is being called for. Let's see what Yao Mingwei can do. She's at 54%. She's struggled a little bit with direction on takeouts. Saw her feather an attempted clear early in the game. Let's see what we can do here.
Again, you see her release is just a little bit inside out, a little too aggressive, putting a little flick on it. Yeah. And when you do that, it doesn't curl very much. And if you do too much, the stone's not coming back either. So, but that worked out.
Yep. Remove that center. So now Mari Motohashi. Love to get it right up against that Chinese stone. It slightly overcurls it, but it's in a pretty good spot for Team Japan. Pretty annoying spot for Team China.
12秒就行，我觉得。
12秒开。
11秒5、12秒。
行。
前面磕开也可以啊。
开。
China's line 2. They've got last rock here in the 4th.
12秒量不用特别大。
Women's semifinal. Game is scheduled for 10 ends of play.
12秒，12秒5，带着点。哇，哇，下线，下线，江迪，哇，哇，下线，下线，下线，下线。
It goes right past everything. Only catching yellow, and I don't think that was the tolerance. I do think the skip said, you know, catching the guard's not the worst.
Yeah.
我感觉蹬的还行，出手给。
Yeah, just checking with her teammates. Did I overthrow it? I think so.
綺麗に傾斜って感じだった。
The release on that one looked pretty good. Just maybe too much weight. Just
Yep.
そうだね、10、10半でいくわ。それ黄色の方が低いんだっけ？
Tsunami Yoshida, 79% so far in this match. 10 so far in this match for me, Sandra, just kind of muddling along. They're not playing badly, but they're not playing great yet either. Some half shots, and there's another one. Rolls it away to the wing. And they'll have a quick look at the other semifinal, and unbeaten Korea, showing why they're unbeaten. My goodness, a 12-0 lead after 3 ends of play for Korea over Hong Kong. Big accomplishment for Team Hong Kong. It's the first time a Hong Kong team's ever made it to the medal round at this event. But certainly overmatched in that one. But we're returning to our feature match. Japan versus China. China came into this game ranked number 2 after pool play, and they're leading it 3-1. Jang Shin-Di having a nice game. She's at 92% so far. Looking for a little inside roll, but pretty much on the nose. So an important stone coming up now for Team Japan. Chinese stones accumulating a little bit in the rings.
Yeah, well, Japan has one fully buried behind the guard. Make the roll in behind here, sit 2 buried. That's looking pretty good.
Right in the nose. So no inside roll, but Japan lies 2. That yellow stone belonging to China's 3rd shot. Yidlin's having a look at that just to make sure. It matters a lot, doesn't it, Sander? Sometimes when you see these players looking at whose 3rd shot or whose 4th shot can really dictate your shot choice. Here's the target line. Jang Shin-Di. It's going to get a little outside roll, a little nudge. It's going to spring forward. So she would have liked that to be probably 3rd shot. So a bit of a break here for the Japanese. And a couple of choices. Judging by the brush placement, Sander looks like she's wanting to come around the center guard and just maybe push her own rock straight back, maybe a foot. Question for me is, would her shooter still be 3rd shot?
Yeah, if it wouldn't be, I don't like this call that much. You'd try and you'd like to outcount the yellow on the left. If that guard was tighter to the rings, it'd probably just come around everything. But I just feel like that red stone, as it lies, is very accessible for China. So
Satsuki Fujisawa at 58% so far for the match. Struggled a bit early, missed a draw against 2 because of line. Made a nice one in the last end. What can she do here? This one's well by. She is going to go right around everything. It is not the tap, it's the come around. Need it to stick around the back 8-foot to count. And it does. Nice shot.
yeah, that works.
Absolutely. Satsuki Fujisawa, world silver medalist a couple of years ago in Swift Current Canada. Dialing it in.
いや、ライン抜群。むしろこれ多分ベストだと思う。投げ方的には。他球在9圈。
There we see the Japanese shots. Well protected behind that center.
Okay.
So now Jiang Yilun has to play follow the leader. Trying to put one pretty much right on top of that stone that Fujisawa just threw. Jiang Yilun also at 92% for the contest so far. That's a definitive whoa. Little bounce, and China lies one.
Yeah, really important to sit shot there. If that pumps off another foot and leaves Japan lying 2, they can come around again. And you're drawing against 3. This way, there'll be most of the forfeit will still be open for the same draw.
This is one of these situations, though, where you know if you push that stone a foot, you can lie 3, and sometimes you just subconsciously step up your weight a little bit too much, as opposed to thinking, throw, draw, weight, sweep for the bump. So let's see if Satsuki Fujisawa can drill another one into the pile.
The other thing is they're looking to get the tiny inside roll here. So if they're too cute, they could catch their own stone top of the 8-foot and leave a draw for 2 for China. So going to play this a little bit safe.
Good looking line. It's not going to bump it back for shot, but it is going to sit 1. So force is on now for Team China, and nice shot there from Satsuki Fujisawa. Showing that discipline not to overthrow that shot. She knew if she had the right line and she sat in front of the Chinese stone, that the best that China could do is score 1, and that's the situation now. Good veteran play there from Team Japan. So it's into the button area for Jiang Yilun. Last stone on its way here in the 4th. Sweepers are backing right off. They think it's hot. Has to curl as well. Will it curl enough? Here it comes. Getting better. Oh, never in doubt. Look at that. Beautiful shot there from Jiang Yilun, and China scores 1. So after 4 ends of play in this semi-final in the women's event, China goes out to a 4-1 lead.
但是后期他就基本上到4区那块下来了，他到2区那块在3区下了，对吧？在2、3区那块，在1区进前线的。
4 ends in the book here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. Semi-final Wednesday here in Erina, Australia. Hans Fraunlub here with you, joined by Sander Rovag. And right now, Sander, there's a good force there for Team Japan. So even though they're trailing by 3 as we approach the midway point of this game, the Japanese can manufacture a pair here. That would give them heart for the second half of the game.
I mean, I think the team's been fairly evenly contested. All 4 ends technically has been forced ends. It's just that Fujisawa missed her draw in the second end. If not, there will only be singles up on the board.
And there's a corner guard, so Japan once again saying, we're going to mix it up. Yan Hui. As we set off the opening, not only is there a place in the gold medal final at stake in this semi, but also a place for their country in the World Women's Curling Championships, which will be held in March 2018 in North Bay, Ontario, Canada. In the semi-final, obviously you always love to win the semi-final because you know you're in the gold medal game, but to be able to clinch that world's place at the same time is extra incentive. Nice touch shot here from Team Japan, just pushing that stone deep in the house, but importantly staying behind the guard. This Japanese team, including Eureka Yoshida, are their country's Winter Olympic representatives. So they'll be competing for Japan in the women's curling event at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. See the road to 2018 hashtag behind the players.
Skippy Lund just showing her second Ming Hui that it's fine to wreck on the guard here because she's been overthrowing her out turns a couple of times. So
might do it the hard way. Just pushes it past the Japanese shot into the back of the house.
And this time maybe overcorrecting a little bit. So afraid of throwing it too wide, you end up throwing it a bit narrow. Something going early on here for Japan.
Speaking of the Olympics, this Chinese team, or China the nation, because you qualify your nation into the Olympics, not individual teams. China has not yet qualified for the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, but they still have an opportunity through the Olympic qualifying event, which will be happening next month in Pilsen, Czech Republic. Both the Chinese men's and women's teams are attempting to qualify for one of the 2 available places in both the men's and the women's discipline. Trying to bring it back towards those stones in the back of the rings, but sits up in the forefoot. So there is a possibility that there could be 3 Pacific Asia zones in both genders competing at the Winter Olympics. Korea and Japan are already there, and the Chinese still have a chance to qualify. Yao Minghui. This one's curling a lot as well. Chance for a double if it overcurls. Just past it. Oh, right through the hole. Wow. Risk of a jam at the back, but safely navigates that one. See the smile from Yao. Here we see the contact point, and watch the stones at the back. There's the red stone, and I'll just squeeze through there. Danger averted for Yao. She smiles. She knows what could have happened. Good chance for the Japanese to capitalize here, though, and attack. They're really working this one, though. Are they going to get by the guard? No, they crash it. They do spill the stone onto the rings, so probably in fourth shot position, maybe third shot, but Yoshida really wanted to get by that one.
あ、いや、ちょっと幅狭いわ。どっからブレイクしたの？我觉得打飞了可以。
Angles still not awesome for Team China. They know they got to get rid of the shot rock, but lots of risks of jams. Wow, just feathers the target rock and leaves it in the 8-foot. Bad miss there for the Chinese, but a huge opportunity now for Japan. Looks like she just overthrew that one a little bit, Sander. Stepped up the weight.
Yeah, they're not playing perfect either here, China. Definitely giving Japan some chances. So important to capitalize though when you do get a break or two. Looking for a little hit and roll off the stone on the wing, and they can sit 3.
Yeah, they briefly considered the split on the stone in the front 12, but they are playing the stone in the back. Lots of cover to roll behind. Sliding right into your lounge is Chinami Yoshida. They really want to save the shooter. There's the inside roll. Hides a corner. Nice shot there for Team Japan, and they lie 3. Something going here at last for Team Japan. Taking advantage of that miss.
No natural double left for China either.
Nice level look at this one. Little inside roll. And things are setting up very nicely for Team Japan. They've got the hammer here in the 5th. Playing the back stone. Do you like this call, Sander? Would you consider running the front rock into the other ones?
Well, the problem with taking off the front stone is if you don't catch anything else and roll out, just leave another draw in around the corner for Japan. I'm going to try and group the stone somehow. So looking for the hit and roll off the back one. Roll to the center line. Doesn't quite roll to the center line, but rolls in front of their own yellow, which means it's a bit harder for Japan. Might have to play the double here to sit 3 once more.
Chang Shin-di recovers from that miss on her previous stone to leave China lying 1. Want to save the shooter, maybe make the double, and she does. Gets a little inside roll. Chinami Yoshida. Japan lying 3. So a slightly dangerous place from the Japanese perspective, though, because the roll behind cover now is quite a bit easier for the Chinese, but a nice double takeout here. Would have loved it to roll another half a rock and get a bit of cover, but there we can see from the shooting end. Target stone fully available for Team China. Looking for a little inside roll behind cover if she can. That will leave a run back, however, for Japan.
Pretty important shot here. I think you'd rather roll a bit too far than not far enough. You don't want to leave the hit and roll back to the wing for Japan.
Pretty good looking rock there. Look at that. Perfect roll. Great shot there from Jiang Yilun. Wow. Yeah. Should be smiling. That's a beauty. Look at the contact point just across the nose and controlling the roll. Covers right behind that front stone. Great shot.
Potential end killer.
Yeah. Teammate of mine, I've said this before on broadcast, but I like to trot it out in situations like this. Dan Mustopic would always say the toughest shot in curling is a hit and roll when you need it. And that one was a beauty.
And if Fujisawa can't follow here, China might be able to lie to and get the forced end. It's could be quite the turnaround, all depending on the outcome of this shot.
An attempted run back here for Satsuki Fujisawa. Needs it right on the nose. No brushing yet. They're looking for it to curl. She's close. No run back. So now they're going for plan B to try and salvage the roll. Well, as you said, Sander, what a turnaround in this end.
And now it's up to China if they just want to draw in a lie two, or they want to be a little safer and remove red stone here.
They're lining up play on the Rocket's third shot. You can see that second shot on the left of our screen is half behind cover. They're going to go and have a look at it now. They're saying, oh, well, what's easier, drawing here or hitting that one? If you hit the outside one, you've got to roll inside.
Corner freeze on the red stone here behind the guards, the perfect shot. But if you miss it, it could be a hit for three.
So after some discussion, the team does settle on the draw. I do think that's the easier shot, Sander, than the hit and roll. The roll would have to roll at least 3 feet to be second shot.
Yeah, you can't see very much on the inside of there, so of course there's a slight risk in this.
Yeah, she slides deep. She could leave Japan a double to score 3.
At the same time, she doesn't want to play the hit on the wing and give up an easy 2 here, so this is a confident call right here from a confident skip. I like it.
I like the weight. Don't want it to go past that stone, though. Well, pretty good result there for Jiang Yilun. Doesn't get the corner freeze, but she is second shot and behind cover, so...
Yeah, I think that's enough, Hans. The double is so thin, you'll jam onto the red anyway.
So the brave play paying off there for Team China. They're going to force Japan to hit and stick in the forefoot to score their 1. But this end was really set up by that great hit and roll on her previous shot, Sander.
That's probably been the main difference so far. The skips.
Motohashi now being asked to jump on it. They were unconcerned, but now they're quite concerned. Can they hold the line? Can't roll out. Oh, they just hang around. Well played, and it's a score of 1 for Japan. So as we reach the midpoint of this 10-end game, China is holding a 4-2 lead. So let's pick up the highlights of the first half of this semifinal between Japan and Korea. In the second end, Japan's Satsuki Fujisawa has to draw the 8-foot. But look at over curls. It's a huge steal of 2 for China. And so after 2, that gave China a 3-0 lead. In the third end, facing 2 stones. Again, Fujisawa with the draw. This time she's on the money. Comes to rest right on the tee line, and Japan is on the board, scoring 1, but they're trailing it by 3-1. And in the 5th, after a great hit and roll by Chinese skip Jiang Yilun, Satsuki Fujisawa is forced to hit and stick to score. Makes it, but it's a force for China, and at the halfway point in the game, they're up by 4-2, carrying the hammer into the 6th. And let's have a look at the shooting and the team stats here at the halfway mark, and go right down to that bottom statistic. Stolen points. That steal of 2 in the second end is the difference in this one so far. We can see that in a shooting percentage that Japan is actually out shooting Team China, but that huge steal of 2 so far, the difference in the game. So what will the second half of this contest bring? This is the women's semifinal. 2 semifinals being played here at the Erina Ice Arena in Erina, Australia. At stake, a place in the gold medal match. That will be played tomorrow. We'll have that for you. Still early, but will it be China advancing to the final? They're 2 up. They've got the hammer here in the 6th. What do you think the coaches would have been saying to the teams at the halfway break, Sander?
Well, for China, of course, it's just, you know,
keep doing what you're doing.
Keep it up. You know, you're doing good. You're 2 up with the hammer here. I think maybe important for China. Make sure you try and score in this end. That way, you know, you can keep control of the even ends. If you're Japan, well, I think they're making the right choices here. So it's more maybe just trying to focus a little bit more on communication. They've been oversweeping a couple of the rocks here and there. But there's not much to choose from. Like the percentages we're showing, they're not playing badly. Just that one miss so far, it's made the big difference in the game.
Or in the case of the 5th, then that one big make by Jiang Yilun with that fantastic hit and roll, that took Japan right out of the end.
Yeah, and that's sometimes all it takes to separate 2 teams, a shot or 2.
Well, this is the highest level of the sport. This Japanese team, world silver medalists. This is a quality team, and this team from China, we're accustomed to seeing former world champion Binyu Wang at these events, but Binyu is preparing for the Olympic qualifying event. So this younger Chinese team showing every bit of the championship quality of their Chinese counterparts here at this event this week. 8-2 in the round robin. They defeated Fujisawa twice in the round robin.
Japan tried to play a guard on the first stroke. That slipped into the rings, into the top 12. We've seen that happen a few times this week. After the halftime break, ice makers mop the sheet. Some debris will be picked up with the mop, and just makes the ice sometimes just a tad quicker for the players. And you know, China was able to make the hit. The second guard is in place, and that's why we do have a couple of rocks here.
Marimoto Hashi, 80% for the first half of the game.
The other thing with that first rock was Yoshida wasn't back on the ice from a halftime break, and sometimes when you're throwing that first rock with only the one sweeper, you tend to think, okay, I need to add a couple of feet here to make up for the fact I only have the one sweeper, and then whoops.
Well, no whoops on that one. It is right on the button, and here is Xiao Mingwei 55%. We've seen her struggle a little bit with her out turn, so this is her in turn takeout attempt.
Yeah, just mostly just not able to stay consistent with her releases, and it's tough, you know, especially in a semi-final. You start second guessing yourself, you know, how am I going to throw it this time, and then your skip tends to, you know, might tighten up your ice or give you more ice depending on how you threw the last time. So really important for the skip and the player to communicate and say, okay, this is how I'm throwing it from now on. Give me ice for this type of throw.
Motohashi. She's throwing the out turn. Counterclockwise rotation for the right-handers. Looking to keep some distance between the stones. Just over curled.
Yeah, it just came a little too close to that Yellowstone top of the 12. I think you'll probably see China want to peel both the stones here. You know, sometimes it might seem counterintuitive to remove your own stones, but here it's all about opening up the forfeit. That red stone is really locked in there.
No action on the stone in the top 12, but removes the center line guard.
And Japan will be really happy to just continue guarding it. Even as it lies, it's tough for China to get that red stone out of the forfeit. So great chance to steal for Japan, and to steal one and the 6th end, even ends.
Yep, great end to steal.
Huge.
Angles are really good for Japan right now. Tsunami Yoshida at 85% at the 3rd position for Japan.
Yeah, so the thing about the even ends is, as we're in the 6th, there's 3 even ends left, 2 odd ends left. So if you score in the even ends, there's a good chance you're going to score 3 times and your opponent only 2 times. So that's the gist of why you want to control the even ends.
Nice guard there from Yoshida. And yeah, trailing by 2, Japan would dearly love to have one more scoring opportunity than their opponents.
Of course, there's always an extra end possibility, but we would like to try and win the game before that.
No ties in curling. Jiang Xindi at 78% for the game. Catches it thin, removes that center guard. So a bit of a game of cat and mouse.
It'll be interesting to see if China makes another play here. If one of the Japanese guards maybe tend to overcurl, China might think to come down onto the red stone, tap it up, release that yellow backing, setup shot to remove the red later on.
Guard placement so crucial. If it undercurls, you leave the yellow run back. If it overcurls, you open up the shot. This one's got a bit of curling to do. Has she left the run back? Covers the out-turn path, definitely. Once again, briefly looked at the run back, but electing to clear the guard. Long center guard there we can see on the in-turn side. Yellow run back is there, but it is dangerous.
Yeah, maybe just wanting to wait one more rock before making that move, just in case they don't make the run back and Japan plays another draw. But
looking for some action, doesn't get it. When do you make your move? Here this time, yeah, they don't want to leave that run back if they can avoid it. Like to get their guard just to touch the center line.
yeah, they can afford to show even a half of their own redstone because the way they're angled, China can't throw a hard hit on the outside of the red stone, it won't really go very far. It'll just stick onto that back yellow.
Sweeping for curl now, trying to get it near the center line.
Just enough for them.
It's a teaser. I think it might still just be there on the intern side. Might be able to get to nose. Lots of separation between the guards, so Jiang Yilun's going to look at the angles. See, I could run the red again. Do I try running ours back now?
I think they're looking at running the red guard onto the yellow, then onto the red, actually.
Yeah.
That way.
That's 2 for 1.
Yeah, either you peel both the guards. If you're real good, you get some action on the shot stone as well.
So we've got a pretty good idea what will happen if she makes this shot. What are the consequences if she doesn't?
Yeah, I was just trying to think about that. I guess she could stuff the red stone onto the yellow, leave that in the top of the 12 foot as a guard, and Japan could maybe come around and play a little tap and try and sit 2 buried. But you'd be pretty unlucky to do that.
Well, after looking at the red-yellow double clear, now she's taking a second look and saying, let's play the yellow straight back right now.
Well, if she can see enough of it to make the nose hit.
We talked about how Japan was trying to get that guard to touch the center line. Left about a 1 or 2 inch gap. So on the intern now, there's a great look at it. Jiang Yilun just trying to get to the nose, straight back to pick off the red. Can afford to be just a fraction high side.
Looks tough to me.
It is a tough shot, no doubt, but it's there. It's close. They left it too long as it over-curled. That's a sweeping error. That shot was made.
Wow. Yeah, played the down weight there, so they actually got some curl past the guard, but too much.
So, no fault for the shooter there. That was just a bad line read. That stone was made, but it over-curled.
Does move the backing though, so that frees up that red stone, but the question is, how do you get to it? The shooter rolls underneath that top red guard, and if Japan can lob another in here.
Yeah, they want to put it right where Chinami Yoshida's got her brush. Front 4 foot, second shot. What a turnaround.
I think you might want to just come all the way down, frozen onto your own here.
Yep.
Close down the scoring area as much as possible. I think the only shot left for China is probably an in-turn draw.
So can Japan's Satsuki Fujisawa crank up the heat, trying to freeze another shot behind the center guards?
A lot of communication off and on usually means it's close.
Good looking line, good looking weight, good looking shot. Look at this, perfect. Great stone from Satsuki Fujisawa, and Japan's line too, and the pin is almost buried.
Yeah, perfection indeed. Can't do better than that. Closes down the scoring area here. And Jiang Yilun will have to touch the button here to cut the score down to 1. Touch the pin for the single point. So
if you're a curling fan who's watched the sport for a long time, you might remember a Breyer back in the Canadian Curling Championships when Guy Hemmings of Quebec had a shot very similar to this. He only had half the button and the pin to draw to win the Breyer. Made it. Yeah. Jiang Yilun's got a very similar situation here. Her only target area is half the button to get her stone on the edge of the pin to score 1. Can she do it? Sweepers are on and off, so I think they like the weight. Going for it now. Have they left it too long? This one is going to pull up short. Not even getting a piece of the rings, just into the 12, but it is a steal of 2 to Japan. It is a brand new game. That fantastic come-around draw by Fujisawa pays off. Jiang Yilun comes up short with the draw, and we are all tied up, folks, after 6 ends of play. New ball game. It is Japan 4 and China 4.
だけどもうちょっと遅かったかなって感じ。ちょっとエクステンションがね。
Well, semi-final Wednesday here live in Erina, Australia at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017, Japan versus China. And after that steal of 2, we are deadlocked at 4. Japan roaring back. And this one is anybody's ball game. And we were just talking in the break there. My colleague Sandra reminded me that that fantastic draw by Guy Hemmings was in fact in the semi-final. So perhaps I'm showing my age and just not quite remembering the exact game that these things happened in, but regardless.
It sounded better with the final one.
Well, that's true. I guess exactly. Could have just stuck with that one, but we know that the curling fans out there would find us out and correct us. So.
Well, how fitting, though, we are. And we're doing the semi-final anyway.
That's true.
And a draw to the button might very well be the last shot we'll see in this game.
Well, we are deadlocked now, so we know it's gonna be close. But small things make such a big difference at these championship levels. Saw early in the game, Fujisawa on an attempted draw. Misread the line a little bit, it overcurled, it was a steal of 2, and then in that 6th end, Jiang Yilun trying to run back. A little bit of a misread on the sweeping line, it overcurled, and all of a sudden Japan steals 2, so 1 each.
Yeah, pretty much. Story of the game.
Net result, deadlocked.
Yeah, kind of back to square one here. China started with the last stone advantage. And they'll have it again in the 7th.
But as you pointed out, Sander, crucially, Japan controlling the even ends now.
So right now, if both teams score 1 point, and each time they have the last stone, it'll be a tie game coming into the extra. There's 4 ends left. China wouldn't mind blanking this end to regain control, but might be looking hard already. A few stones in play.
Yep, center guard and 3 stones behind it. All behind the tee line. So they're just stacking up, a bit like mixed doubles. Marimoto Hashi. Good-looking stone, just slightly across nose, sits on the button. Good angles for Team Japan. And immediately, Jiang Yilun says, okay, let's get rid of that center guard.
Yeah, for 2 reasons. One, don't want to get too sucked into that forefoot and end up giving up another steal. second reason, maybe want to try and keep that blank alive.
Catches it pretty thick, but enough to spill off to the wing. Stays in play, but really not a factor.
でもさ入っちゃうとさ相手に打たれた時にさ
そうだね
2半3ね2半3 2エクステンションかな前だったらまだ使えるから
いいよ
見せていいかな
セットはしてるよさっきより外通るから
外通る2半
ちょっと重そうだよギャッ2半ギャッサイドがいいよサイドがいいよ
やっ曲がりすぎちゃわない
ギャッいや大丈夫大丈夫ギャッギャッギャッギャッギャッ
もうちょい
You can almost feel the confidence building in this Japanese foursome center.
And at the same time, China's not in too bad of a situation here. You know, that shot zone's fairly accessible. Remember how much curl there's in the ice. I don't think Japan's going to throw that center guard for the next 4 rocks. And there's a chance China could come around and just tap that red stone and score 2 at the second shot. So we'll see if Japan plays a hit here. Or if they do actually keep guarding.
Is enough room for the Chinese to chip that redstone off the button and stick around to score 2, so no room for error on the guards for Tsunami Yoshida.
There's also a chance China might switch up the play here before we get to the skip rocks.
Motohashi and Yoshida on the brushes. Nice job there. Good placement of the stone.
And that's the perfect spot.
There we see Yoriki Yoshida. Japanese lead. Very good brusher. Jang Jin-di.
Actually, if Japan can put that guard in the exact same spot 3 more times, it's really hard for China to score. But every, you know, a bit of a miscue could give China 2.
Well, we've seen how much the stones curl on this ice and draw weight. So makes guard placement very, very challenging. Fraction less weight on this one. Sweeping it to curl. They want to get a piece of that center line again. Coming up. Good sweeping. Covering just a corner of the shot rock, but now China says, well, maybe we can make a play on it on the intern side.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We'd have to make a move at some point. The good part for Japan is they are showing the correct side of the stone here. So the angle the shooter stone is coming in from is not the best for the Chinese. They're going to have to come across the face.
Jang Jin-di just confirming the weight. Just trying to nudge this Japanese stone off the button. They're close. Oh, pretty good shot there. Maybe could have let it curl a fraction more center. But there we see on the overhead that China's lying 1. There's a pocket there. The Japanese stone at the bottom right second shot.
こでも悪くない。
うん、全然ここでも多分ワンにはなるよね。
むしろこっちの方がいい。
Does open up the button.
これ2なんだ。
ね、1分ぐらいなら大丈夫そうだよ。
うん。ね、これも若干見えてはいるけど。
これがベストなんだけどさ、こうはなりたくないんだよ
ね。
うん。こっちからの方がいい。
確かに相手も難しいかも。で、こうなっても悪くないんだよね。曲がりすぎちゃってね。相手すごい曲がってたんだ。
あ、こっちにぶつかってね。
うん。いい、ここ。そうだね。B じゃあここにする。
こっち結構滑ってるよね、ユリ投げて。
ね、でも最後多分センタークロスするから。センタークロスがね。
ユリカはね、ここで投げてたんだよね。
うん、スイープ使うんだったら。
最後1個、ゾーン1個ぐらい。さっきのドローだとちょっと遅い。
There you see the brush from Tsunami Yoshida telling us where they'd like it to come to rest. Corner freezing. She got some options here, Sander. If she comes down that path and just nudges it, and she'll still be sitting shot in the button area. A little bit heavy. She's got the stones in the back to freeze to. But, lots of different ways this end could go.
Yeah, they were initially thinking about just freezing on the back, but they know the Chinese rock will just come on top, so they can get a corner freeze and 6 shots. Don't hear, they know China's going to have to try and move it.
I think Satsuki said when she let it go, she thought it was a little bit full. This one is well by those guards, nowhere near the target rock. Gonna sit on top of her own. Winds up shot, but it's behind the tee line. Not a bad result, though, but big error there on the line. She was nowhere near her target line. But a good result. But a chance for the Chinese if they can get inside. Just wiggle that red one just a fraction to the right. They would lie to and make it quite difficult for Fujisawa. Bit of risk for the Chinese, though. If they unlock those stones and Fujisawa could ever double them off, might have a hard time scoring. You could really see the expression as soon as Satsuki let that one go. She said, I don't like the line. Weight was okay.
Yeah, sometimes you just slide a little tight on the brush and then you want to
throw it back.
You throw it back a little too much and add a little too much weight while you're doing it. It's not a nice feeling.
Zhang Yilun, the sweepers are on this one right away. Now they're backing off. Saw her come up short with an attempted draw in the 6th, which gave up a steal, but this one's got lots of momentum. Again, well by those guards. Needs to curl to get to the nose. Does it? Yes, it does. Now we can see, though, the way these stones are staggered. Tsunami, her Fujisawa, immediately said, we've got a double here.
Yeah, China really wanted that on the inside of the red.
So the red stones belong to Japan. China lies 2, but the way these are staggered, if Fujisawa can hit about 1/3 of the right-hand yellow rock, she'll spring across, kill the other one, sit right behind the guard. Red stone will jam at the back, and she will likely be lying 2. Needs to be on the inside of the rock. Gets a bit of action.
Pretty good.
That's not a bad result at all. And Japan does indeed lie 2.
Yeah, cut a bit too thick. Doesn't get the double, but gets the perfect roll frozen. Not a bad option.
Said, I'll take it. Would have liked the double, but I'll take it. And now, about the only shot here for Zhang Yilun is to really bounce off your own stone and roll to the pin to score 1.
Yeah, just wiggle in there. Just a slight redirect off your own yellow. It's just a heavy draw, really.
Yeah, she's just looking to feather off her own yellow stone and redirect it towards the pin to score 1.
西区等等线。
哦，顶线，
顶线，
嗨，顶线，嗨，靠点，二，嗨，开叉，嗨，再来。
Desperation in the voice of Zhang Jindia calling the line. Look at that. Wow, fantastic shot. Get a close look at it, and it is indeed 1 for China. Wow.
Yeah.
Right through the hole, onto the back one. Clutch shot there, Sander.
Didn't even need the redirect, just thread the needle.
Fantastic shot. But it is a force for the Japanese, but it's a score of 1 to China. After 7 ends of play, they nudge in front by a score of 5 to 4.
咱先领先1分，先爽。对，然后。
晋阳 ，OK。
Welcome back to the Erina Ice Arena in Erina, Australia. Been 21 years since the Pacific Asia Curling Championships were held in the land down under, but curling has returned to Australia. You're enjoying a fantastic women's semifinal game between Japan and China. This one has been back and forth. Some great shots, some small errors, some people taking advantage of them, and at this point, with 3 ends of the scheduled 10 remaining, it's anybody's game. Japan now with the hammer in the 8th.
Yeah, so game plan for Japan is try and score 2 here, force China to take 1 in the 9th end. That'll be a tied game with the last an advantage coming home. For China, well, if they could ever... A force is good. Actually, even letting Japan maybe blank the end is also pretty good. And try and force Japan to take a single in the 9th end, then China would be tied coming home. So there's some thinking here. Controlling the scoreboard.
That is the decision really for Chinese skip Zhang Yilun.
Of course, a steal.
How much do you play with fire to try and generate a force or a steal? Exactly. So the guards are accumulating. More stones in play. Reduces the chance of a blank end. There we see at the lead position, not too much to choose between the players. A slight edge to Yan Hui.
Trying to come around the guard here. Make a little hit and roll off the shot stone. Very nice.
Nice touch. And it spills, twists back in and right behind that center guard. So immediately, Chinese skip Yang Yilun saying that was pretty good.
As far as the leads go, this one goes to Yoshida.
Yeah. Beautiful shot, perfect roll, and so Zhang Yilun says, okay, I got no choice. I got to rip this corner. Probably do that anyways.
Interesting that she's feeling it on the outturn here. There's a chance she might disturb the center guard as well.
There's 1 and 2 and action, and it spills into the rings. That's a very nice result.
Yeah, pretty good. The risk there was catching it a little thinner. You just punch the center guard over and boom, you have a corner guard on the other side, but pretty good result.
So Japan with a chance to hit and stick to lie 2. Maybe look for a little roll to the other side of the house. Ken Watson curling old school, split the house to try and score 2. Looking for a bit of a roll to get some separation. Gets a little bit of separation, but they're still pretty cozy. Chance here for China to maybe double them off. We've seen that Yao Mingwei can throw pretty big takeout weight. For quite a flat double here.
Maybe a little bit cautious from Japan. You know, the other call would be to maybe just throw guard on your second shot. China would probably peel a couple of times, and then you can make the hit and roll. This way, China has 5 attempts at the double and doesn't need it.
That's a beauty. Nice shot there from Yao Mingwei. Kills both Japanese stones, double takeout. So now, tactically, Sander, you kind of reset, don't you, if you're Satsuki Fujisawa? Marimoto Hashi with a clear advantage at the second stone position over her counterpart, Yao Mingwei, but nice double there by Yao.
Yeah, we talked about controlling the even ends. With 3 ends remaining. If everyone scores with the last stone, Japan gets to score in 8 and 10 versus China's only 9th end, so they score 2 ends versus China 1. But, you know, if Japan blanks here, there's only 2 ends left, so.
And then Japan could be thinking, okay, well, we'll score 1 and 9, go 2 up coming home, and, or sorry, rather, be even coming home. They'd have to steal the 10th, so Japan would then probably have to think about trying to blank the 9th as well. Tough to do.
That or score 2.
Yes.
But, another option here, which is maybe probably not likely, but they could just take their 1 here in the 8th end.
Yep.
Force China to 1 and 9, come home.
Yep.
One down, but I don't think you've seen many teams do that. If it was a tied score, it'd be different.
Right. Yeah, you might take 1 to go 1 up, but you probably wouldn't take 1 just to tie it.
And for any new curling fan out there, being 1 up without the hammer is it's about 50-50.
It's a scary place to be.
Of course, being 1 down with the hammer, again, same situation. It's about 50-50, but teams usually have a preference. Most teams usually prefer to have the last stone, and kind of that way you're in control of the game. It's you determining the game, not hoping for your opponent to miss in the same way.
There we see Marimoto Hashi checking in with the skip. Satsuki Fujisawa. Jang Xindi.
Of course, the extra end is in play as well, so Japan could score 2 in the 9th and try and get a force from China, and then you have the last stone in the extra end.
Xindi rolls to the wing. Again, pretty competitive and even there between the thirds. Chinami Yoshida with a very slight advantage in shooting percentage.
I think what's likely here is you're not going to see either team go too hard for anything in the last couple of ends. It's going to be a bit of a caution.
Yep.
Japan quietly going for their 2 and China quietly going for the force, and that's why we end up in the blank end here. Both teams just being a little bit defensive.
Yes, you pointed out earlier in the end, Sander, when the Japanese elected to hit the stone in the rings as opposed to throwing a guard. That really brought us to here.
I think China's probably the happier side with this being a blank. But of course, shots needs to be made.
Yeah.
3 more shots needs to be made before that happens. That is 1.
Zhang Yilin removes the Japanese stone. China lies 1. You see the comparison at the 4th stone position. Pretty much dead even there. Fujisawa making a comeback. She really struggled in the first half of the game, mainly because of that missed draw in the second, but she's fought back to relatively even terms in shooting percentages, and Japan has fought back into nearly even terms on the scoreboard as well. Nothing in play except for that one stone in the rings. Little roll to the outside. Nicely played. Fujisawa knows that it's likely on her next shot that she'll be called upon to try and make a blank. Has to roll away as opposed to hit and stick. Degree of difficulty on the blank attempt is a little bit higher because you've only got half the rock as your target. Right in the nose. Good shot there from Zheng Yilun. She's done all she can do to try and set up the force. But now Satsuki Fujisawa of Japan will attempt, we believe, to blank the end. As you said, Sandra, there's a remote chance that they could just try to play to score the one and keep the last rock on the even end, but we think it's going to be the blank attempt.
Well, she gets to throw the same path again here.
They like it. It is the blank. Fujisawa hits, rolls off the scoring area, so no score in end number 8. But Japan will take last rock into the 9th. China is leading it by a score of 5-4. It's going to be a fantastic finish. So which way is this one going to go? Welcome back. Women's semifinal at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. Place in the gold medal game at stake, as well as a guaranteed spot in the World Women's Curling Championship. China is leading it 5-4. Japan's got the hammer here on the 9th. We're scheduled to play 10 ends. We'll play an extra end if it's tied. And to use the sporting cliche, Sandra, that extra end is kind of looming.
Yeah, especially now. Yan Hui, Chinese lead, looking for a guard, but slips into the house. So Japan, right away, saying, let's hit. We want to blank another end here. Retain hammer into the 10th end. Control the game. Score 2. But yeah, I think that's just what's going to happen here. Like I said, China's not going to take the risk of throwing another guard here. So both teams just want to keep it tight.
So again, the importance of the lead stone dictating the play of the end.
Yep.
Rolls out of the ring, so it'll be interesting to see how Japan decides to play this one. Will they try to do something with that stone in the back? We can see Fujisawa saying, yeah, just draw it there. Corner guard, interesting.
I don't mind it. It's you know, it's like I said, cautious approach at scoring 2. If you don't get it, blank the end. Because I cannot see China coming around the guard or anything like that. And even if they did, it might be welcome from Japan. It would be a risk-free way of scoring 2. Center is open. No Chinese counters in the house. So
this one looks like it's going to slide into the rings, however. So now the sweepers are going to take it deep, bringing it full into the 8-foot.
I've actually seen ends where both teams have been struggling on time after playing really aggressive curling. Both teams just throw all the stones through because they know it's going to be a blank most likely anyway, so they're just chucking all the stones through and save time. Bang clock.
Almost like an intentional walk in baseball. Just kind of, okay, we know what's going to happen.
That's probably more, you'd see that more often than when there was playing time, where the clock was actually running while you were playing, so you'd be penalized for draws. Draws takes longer time than the takeouts. You'd spend more time, but with the thinking time, it's exactly what it is, only the thinking time, and the time you spend throwing. After you kick out, the clock will stop, so I don't think you'll see that very often anymore.
No, the time clock not a factor in this game. Both teams have got plenty of time remaining on their clocks, so it's all about the strategy.
Both timeouts also to be used.
Yeah, lots of ways to deal with the clock in this game for both teams.
Good chance for China to practice at a draw weight here.
Into the forefoot.
Might be useful. They might be have to draw a couple in the next end. So the ice is always changing. That's one of the things about curling. Usually it gets quicker at the start of the game, and then sometimes it'll start to slow down by the end. Because just in the sliding path where there's a lot of action, obviously all the players sliding, a lot of rocks run down the center line. It might get a little flat and might start to slow down just a wee bit.
Right in the nose. So play has concluded in the other semi-final game, and there we see Team Korea unbeaten in the round robin with an emphatic 14-2 victory over Hong Kong. So Eun Jung Kim advances to the gold medal game. They are the defending Pacific Asia champions. Hong Kong will play in the bronze medal game, but great win there for Team Korea. Korea clinching their place in the World Women's Curling Championship as well in the process. The stone hits, spills just off the rings. So a couple of catchers there in the outturn wings. So Satsuki Fujisawa says, all right. Sander mentioned no risk, so they'll play for a cautious 2 if they have a chance, but they won't gamble excessively trying to do it.
Yeah, usually there's a, statistically speaking, there's a slight edge being one up without the last stone in the 10-10, but usually teams will look at their own statistics and see what's working best for them.
As you said, Sander, teams have definitely got preferences to how they approach the end game. Just bites the 12-foot.
Well, that's a really good shot, actually.
It's going to be very difficult for China to make a play at it and not jam, but they are going to have to do something about it. They can't leave it on the rings.
It's pretty much just a nose hit here inside, but it is possible to jam this in a couple of ways.
Yeah. The danger for China would be to hit it thin, jam it sideways, and it could spin back onto the rings.
Or high side.
On the high side, could jam the back one and spill sideways as well. So, bit of a nervy one here for Jiang Xindi.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It is the jam. So that stone by Yoshida was just clinging on the rings. Jiang Xindi jams it on the back. It goes sideways, and all of a sudden now Japan switches gears. All of a sudden there's a deuce in the breeze.
Well, often when I have clinics and teach people how to play curling in the rink back home, they ask me why leave the stones there at all. Well, that's a good reason right there.
Absolutely. Japan will look to get this stone relatively deep in the house. They don't want to leave a cross-house double. Trying to sweep it all the way back into the blue 12-foot circle. And they do. Very nice weight control there. Great end from Chinami Yoshida, setting things up for Team Japan. Japan lies 2. There's Chang Shindi and there's Satsuki Fujisawa. Thinking halfway through the end, okay, we're going to blank. We'll go into the 10th end, 1 down with. Now all of a sudden a chance for that deuce. Deuces with the hammer have been elusive in this game. Both of the pairs have come via steals. Hits and rolls off. So can Fujisawa duplicate the feat of her third? She'll try to replace that stone exactly where Chinami Yoshida put it, in the back 12-foot. Big shot here. This is the setup shot that could convert the pair for Japan. It's really important that she gets this stone deep in the house. They're saying it's not going to go deep. We're going to leave it high. Comes to rest on the tee line, and Japan does score 2, or lie 2 rather. They're not scoring 2 yet. Still a stone to come. But we can see by the angles there is the chance for the Chinese to hit and roll in front of that stone in the back 12-footer. If she catches it, then maybe make the double takeout. Saw the previous stone from Yoshida went deep in the house. There was no angle there for the double, but there is now. And if you're Zhang Yilun, Sander, you're probably thinking double takeout really here, aren't you?
Yeah, well, again, you give up 2, it's not the end of the world. You know, you're 1 down with the hammer, still a good chance to win. I don't think you want to risk it too hard.
Definitely need to get contact.
Sounds close.
There's 1. So close to the double. Just needed a little bit more of that target rock. So close, worth a try.
I have to say, Hans, it's a bold attempt.
She really threw a lot of weight at that one, didn't she?
I mean, so often you'll see that attempt over curl because you're, as a skip will usually think, oh, I got to make sure to hit one, but she actually caught it too thin.
Yeah.
Which means she really went for it. So impressive. Just yeah, too bad it didn't come off, but draw for 2 for Japan.
Yep. Same shot here for Satsuki Fujisawa. Motohashi saying this one's got lots. I don't want to touch it. Needs to stay in the rings, but boy, this one is steaming.
This would be a huge mistake. If this slips through the rings.
Will it stay in the rings? No, it's through the rings. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. An open house to draw to for Fujisawa. She throws it through the rings, and it is only a score of 1. So Japan ties it up, but unbelievably missing the shot for 2. We go into the 10th end. It is all tied up at 5.
ターか。そうだね。
ね、力か。同じだ。
Well, after that uncharacteristic and unbelievable miss by Fujisawa, we can see the Japanese coaches bench looking on somberly. They know that was a huge opportunity that might have helped them position themselves to advance to the gold medal game, but now the advantage swings back firmly into China's hands. They've got last rock here on the 10th end, and we are all tied up at 5.
It's just incredible. You know, they've played each other twice so far this week, and Japan has had hammer 11 times, hasn't scored a deuce against China, and again, not today even. It's pretty incredible.
It really is. They've stolen twos, but scoring two with the hammer has been difficult for either team. Now, attempted tick for China, but this stone is going to come. Oh, it's picked something up.
Interesting. Oh, wow.
Interesting. The stone caught a piece of debris as it was going past the Japanese rock, changed direction, killed some momentum. Look at the replay. Watch the rotation of the stone just kind of kill itself and turn around and sits up in the top of the 12-foot. One thing you know for sure, if you're Team Japan, you're going to want rocks in play. They have to steal for the win.
Yeah, not necessarily a bad thing for Japan. With that yellow stopped, kind of a guard for them.
Yeah, more rocks in play, the better from the Japanese perspective.
Oh, this one's slipping into the rings.
Yeah, that's another error, but at least it's behind cover. And the way these stones curl, if that is needed later in the end, that will be something that the teams can draw around. But see, again, China's going to try the tick shot. It's in the free guard zone, which means China can't remove it from play, but they are going to try to reposition it. You can move it, but it has to stay in play. Yan Hui trying the tick. Gets a piece. Very nice shot there from Team China. Opens up that center line area. That was the objective of that shot. Trying to open up the 4-foot. Moves that red stone off into the almost the edge of the 8-foot. Very nice shot there from Yan Hui. Good read as well, because that's a total team shot. It's all about weight communication, but mostly about the line. So now Mari Morohashi looking to stack them up. Sweeper saying this one's going to be a tight guard. It's got lots of weight. Good stone. Protecting their own shot in the 12-foot. All right, so a little deep. It's not too bad. So Yao Mingwei make a double takeout earlier in the game. Trying to clear stones here. Free guard zone part of the end is over, so she's free to peel guards and knock them out of play. Patience time now for Satsuki Fujisawa. She really does need to. They say great athletes have to have terrible memories, and she has to put that memory of that missed draw on the 9th end away. Focus totally on the now.
てるよ。ちょっと伸びそうだよ。2半伸びるとこ入ってるから。ちょっと深いよ。2半3。同じぐらいだよ。ちょっと深いわ。Okay, nice.
Comes to rest halfway. Zhang Yilun will again ask Yao Minghui to try and clear that center guard and open up that scoring area. We are tied. Whoever scores in this end will win the game and advance to the gold medal match. Oh! Misses the center guard. Leaves Japan lying one. Huge mistake. Seen a couple of times in this game that Yao Minghui has just been a bit inside out with that outturned delivery sender, and that one blew right by the center guard. Great chance now for Japan.
B はもう1個前はやりすぎだもんね。やりすぎじゃないかい？タイム取る？そうだね。もったいないね。ちょっと大事だよね、ここ。
Japan's calling timeout. This is a big tactical decision, so they're like the input of their coaching staff.
And the next one's really important because the next one might just be the rock they're going to have to guard throughout the end, so it's important that it ends up in the right spot. Question is, do you play the tap or do you just come around everything with a pure draw?
Fujisawa was certainly interested in the tap as her first choice, but Tsunami Yoshida is saying, well, we could just come around or we could just throw a guard. Lots of options.
やられるね。いや今ガードよりもチナの1投目だもんね。そうなんだよね。
And that's in a good position. So if you tap it and split it open, well, can you if you split it open, they're just going to peel the guard, right? And then you're going to have just an open house. So I think you just keep it where it is now, draw around, because you can still get almost button, right, coming around there. She has to peel the guard. And if she peels, you still have 2 stones blocking. Because right now, she doesn't have this draw, right? So keeping that stone there is good. We don't want to move it. Now, later in the end, if you need it, you can tap it later, but definitely not right now. You just come around.
Keep her as a guard.
Okay.
No, there's a stone now.
Yeah, so you keep that there, come around wide.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's go.
This makes a lot of sense to me, Hans.
Yeah.
It's perfectly explained.
Yeah, it's really... Thanks, JD. That's exactly how the situation stacks up. If you move that red stone now, you make it easier for your opponent, potentially.
Yeah, the good part about the explanation there from JD is just... Didn't tell them just what the next shot was going to be, but pretty much laid out the whole end.
Yeah.
How he feels they should play it. And yeah, I think it's just a great game plan overall.
So the play will be the come around draw. They're going to try and draw around that yellow stone into the button area. And this one is crucial. Yeah. Of course, every stone from now is crucial. Yep, they are all big. Each team with 4 rocks to come. We're on to thirds rocks here in the 10th end. Women's semi-final. Sweeping for the curl now, trying to bury it. It's going to get past that tee line. They don't want to slide too deep, though, and give the Chinese something to freeze to. Hides a corner, goes just back 4 foot.
It's not terrible.
No, it's not. But now a decision for the Chinese. JD Lin predicted they're just going to run the guard if you throw that one around.
There's a chance that that draw is maybe not good enough to guard, so Japan might have to come in with another one later on, but... Well,
they do have to steal, so if they did manage to freeze their own, might help lock it in, but we've got a bit to go before that happens. First up is the attempted clear by Jang Jin-di.
It'll be interesting to see how the experience shows off here. Japan definitely with an advantage there. This Chinese team are young, and they haven't played any tight games this week, Hans. They've either won big or lost big. They haven't played a game that's been as close as this. Well, Japan also lost big or won big, but they did have a tight game against Korea where they were tied coming home without a hammer, but did concede a 3 and lost. But at least they've had that experience this week.
Well, Japan lying 2 now, but only 1 point will matter in this one. This game is tied. We are playing the 10th and final end. I think we can say that confidently now. Seems very unlikely this end is going to be blanked. Once again, Japan trying to place the guard. It's all about the line. Trying to defend that stone. Straddles the center line, covers a little bit of both of those front stones. Basically saying to China, okay, leave it there at your peril. We'll use it. See the corner of the red shot rock in the 4-foot visible, but once again, Zheng Yilin playing the percentages, saying that center guard will be the one that we regret leaving there if we do. So she's asking Zhang Jin-di to make a play on it.
So I think one more guard from Japan, and then I'm going to predict the timeout from China.
Well, we're down to skips rocks now in the 10th. Sweeping it for the line now, trying to get protection on both of the front stones. Yep, no. I'm quite happy with that position. So let's see, the prediction is spot on, Sander. China calls timeout.
Yeah, they're going to have to choose if they want to peel the guard here and then expect probably Japan to come around once more, play a tap and face 2, or if they want to make the move now, come in for shot stone. That's probably the only 2 options, really.
I agree. 2 stones to come for China. They have last rock. But Japan, with the red stones, are lying 2. The stone that matters is that red stone in the back of the 4-foot. Here's Marcel Rock.
Okay, so you play the freeze. Got to be shot. Need to be shot. If you're behind, they come inside and freeze. If you're shot, they run this. You've got your drop. So yeah, that's not bad.
Okay.
Make it with your first. If you the perfect shot, you're not right against it. No, perfect. Perfect. Your shot rock, over curl, and at the tee line.
Okay.
They run this.
下过一点。
A little higher. No. Yeah. They run this, and then you have draw tee shot.
Okay.
That's newbie. If you need to go to the back, they're coming in again.
Okay.
So, input from both of the coaches, quite emphatic. Coach Rock saying, yeah, can't run the center guard anymore. Go in now, but keep your shot rock in front of the tee line, a little bit on the inside. Said Japan will then run their own in, but you'll have a draw.
Yeah, well, and if you overcurl the nose here, you know, that red stone in the back of the 4 could be a back guard. You know, if you play the run back, you might not be able to remove it.
Yeah.
Because it might jam on that red stone. So yeah, a little bit inside could be perfect.
So the intrigue continues. Both teams have used their timeouts, so no more coach consultation available.
，OK，可以。
往上手脚，56，还可以，我觉得力量。56，
铁外侧，线路偏外啊！哇，78，下线了，
顶线，
哇，
力量过，78，哇，直接掉下去了。
Nudges the Japanese stone back, and China sitting 1. But there is still an opportunity here for Japan, Sander, to just with perfect draw weight get inside that one, I think.
It's not a bad attempt. I mean,
it's a great shot.
They're shot stone here, and it's definitely putting the pressure on Fujisawa. Get to the inside.
It's a straight draw. Deep breath. To stay in the game. Must get by. Must get by. They're just by. Wow. Little inside roll. Great shot there from Fujisawa.
Incredible.
Look at the smile, a mile wide, and you can understand why. That came so close. On the replay, heard the panic in the voice on the sweeping. They were worried about wrecking on this stone right there, but they're just by it. Nudges the Chinese stone back. Wow. Great shot from Satsuki Fujisawa.
You know, the other thing, Hans, they're lying 2, so there's no chance for China to just peel out the shot stone for the game. That red stone on the back of the 8-foot is the saver for Japan. I'm not sure what the shot is here.
Yeah, we'll take another look. We can see Jang Yi-lun now looking at her options, and they don't look great. If she could somehow tap that yellow stone straight back to the button, we don't think she can draw to get there. She can get a piece, but what they're debating, can they move it and still stay shot? Red stone is the Japanese stone. As Sander points out, that red stone in the back. His second shot. Are they looking at a double?
They're maybe just looking at a tap and trying to sit, nibbling the forfeit for the win here, Hans.
But if she does that, she's going to need enough force to push the Japanese stone out of the forefoot. Surely she would roll away. That does look like the play. They're definitely making a play on the shot rock. It's going to be a question of how much weight. Judging by the brush, it would look to be no more than backline weight.
Yeah, we're basically talking about just enough weight to push the stone out of the forefoot, catch it as thick as you can without jamming on the back red, to still keep the shooter just nibbling the forefoot ring.
Wow, well, this semifinal has had everything. Now she's going to come down and have another look. Sometimes you get down in the hack and you take a look at it from the other end and you're thinking, I can't see as much as I thought. It might not be there.
She's got lots of time, 3 minutes to make the call here.
She's saying, that might be the easier shot. Tap that straight forward. They're all tough. Can we draw through? Can we get there somehow? Jang Yi-lun saying, I can't make that out turn. I'm going to have to promote our own. There we look at the overhead shot. She's considering bumping that yellow stone right into the button area. She had a look from the hack end, saw just a sliver of that red target stone, Said, if I throw weight at that, it's going to roll away. We're going to lose. All I've got is just a heavy draw. Back 4 foot weight. Get to the nose of that yellow one and push it to the button. Wow, tough shot. But all she's got. Satsuki Fujisawa, she's done everything she can. She can only watch.
再收一点，
你的比上马量稍收一点。
比上马量稍微收一点吗？
对，刚才上马量磕到8去。对，上稍微收一点。
Has to shave that front red guard with back button weight to try and promote the yellow stone into the button area for the win.
就我上马这样吧。
行。
我有多少线？我有多少线
？9、90，力量大，10，底线，看后面，看后面。
This one has got a lot of curling to do.
Plan B,
it's going to go around. She's going to get a piece. Will it stick around? But no, that second shot is there to save Japan. Japan steals the win. Unbelievable comeback from Team Japan.
Thank you.
Didn't convert with the 2 in the 9th, but they steal the 10th, and Japan moves on. Disappointment for China. Delight for Japan, stealing the 10th. They're into the gold medal match. Your final score. Unbelievable contest. Look at the emotion on this Japanese team. What a clutch finish. What drama. It's got me in tears. It's Japan taking it out. They go on to the gold medal match by a score of 6-5. Sander, that had everything.
Yeah, you know, Japan's not been on the top of the game this week. They haven't beaten any of the good teams. But like you always say, Hans, when you get to the playoffs, it's a whole different tournament, whole new competition. And I think that for this game, it's the experience that's showing for Japan. They've... you know, just the edge on this young Chinese team. But I think these Chinese girls will go a long way in the curling world. But yeah, we'll get to see Team Japan in the final and also at the World Championship in North Bay, Canada.
Well, what a gutsy victory. So Coach J.D. Lin there had some key input there in that 10th end when they had a big tactical decision to make. Counsel them to make the come around. They did, and the net result, Japan. They advanced to the gold medal match. We'll have that game for you tomorrow. China will play in the bronze medal match, but what a game of curling. And Japan are 6-5 winners here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. What a semi. It's the women's semifinal between Japan and China. Play on the second end. Japan's Satsuki Fujisawa drawing against 2, has to get full 8 foot, but this one over curls, and China stealing 2 points to go out to a 3-0 lead. In the 6th end, 2 red stones belonging to Japan, so it's only the edge of the pin to try and draw to for Chinese skip Jiang Yilun. This one comes up short, so Japan steals 2. And at the 6th, it's 4-4. Japan fighting all the way back to tie it up. In the 9th end, Japan lying 1. Open house to draw to for Satsuki Fujisawa to try and score the second point, but this one has got a head of steam on it. Can it stay in the rings? But no, it slides all the way through the rings, so it's only a score of 1. And so we go to the 10th end with the scores tied at 5. Then the 10th end, after a great come-around shot by Fujisawa and Yoshida, final stone attempt for Jiang Yilun. trying to tap her own back. It's a little bit wide, gets a piece of the Japanese shooter, pushes it back, but that red stone at the back of the forefoot is the counter, and it's a steal for Japan, and they advance to the gold medal game, taking this one out 6-5. Now let's have a word with, and I'm sure delighted, Japanese skip Satsuki Fujisawa.
Yeah, that was an intense semi-final, but you're now through to the gold medal game. How does it feel to be in it once more?
結構プレッシャーがあるファイナルで、これを超えてファイナルまではどんな感じですか？
いや最後まですごく緊張感のあるゲームができて、私の Q&A のミスからそうなってしまったのもあるんですけど、すごく緊張したゲームの中でこのチームで勝ちきれたっていうのはすごく大きな価値があるかなと思います。
So that was a bit of a nerve-wracking game for us, especially with the ninth end miss. That was really added to the nervousness, but it was a big win, and we're really happy with it.
It maybe hasn't seemed like Japan has played their best this week, but now you win one. Does that give you more momentum coming into the final game?
日本はいつも通りな感じではないかもしれない。でも今の勝ちでだんだん上がってる気持ちですか？
そうですね。予選でその中国にも2敗をしてて、流れ的には中国の方があったと思うんですけど、この試合の前にフィフスの鈴木から3回やれば1回勝てるっていうふうにポジティブな声をかけてくれて、今回勢いづけて勝てたので、決勝も同じように韓国に予選で2敗してるので、もう1回やれば勝てるんじゃないかなっていうポジティブにそういう気持ちでやっていきたいなと思います。
Okay. So we had 2 losses to Korea coming into this, and before the game, our fifth, Suzuki, said, well, if you play 3 times, surely you'll win on the 3rd. And so we're going now into our game with Korea. We lost to them twice as well, so we're looking to have that team play 3, get the final win, positive attitude.
All right, thank you. Konnichiwa.
Thank you so much.
So a very happy Satsuki Fujisawa. Let's have a look now at the final stages. Your gold medal game tomorrow will feature Korea versus Japan. Hong Kong will play China in the bronze medal match. All of the podium finishers will qualify for the World Women's Curling Championships to be held in March 2018. What a day of curling here in Erina, Australia. An incredible semi-final going down to the absolute final stone. The action's been amazing here. More to come. Men's semi-final tonight. We want to make sure you join us for that. But for this afternoon, on behalf of our entire production team here in Erina and my colleague Sander Rolvag, I'm Hans Fraunlob. We know you've enjoyed that. Thank you and so long from Erina, Australia.
回よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
非常に苦しい試合だったと思うんですけども、振り返ってみていかがですか？
そうですね、前半から苦しい展開で、追う形になっていたんですけど、でもハーフ終わった時点でJD リンドコーチからもすごくいいチャンスは作れているから、ここで我慢をしてチャンスを次ものにすればいいよっていうふうに前向きな言葉をかけてくださったので、それがいい形で2点のスチールにつながりましたし、後半私のミスでちょっとやってしまったなと思ったんですけど、チーム全体的に前向き